They never explained that a single leaf, something that may already be sitting in your kitchen, could silently fuel inflammation inside your joints, accelerate aging beneath your skin, and push your blood sugar into constant swings that wear down your organs day after day. The most frustrating reality is that medical research has documented this for decades. A major study released by researchers at the University of Maryland Medical Center reported that specific plant compounds, when soaked in hot water and consumed regularly, lowered inflammatory markers in adults older than 60 by as much as 47% within just 8 weeks. That number was not advertising language from a supplement company. It came from peer-reviewed scientific research. The countdown begins with 5 different leaves prepared as tea, moving from highly effective to the most powerful option. At number 5 was olive leaf. Most people recognize olive oil. They associate it with the Mediterranean diet and healthy eating habits. Yet almost nobody discusses the leaves from the olive tree itself. That oversight may be costing many people over 60 their daily comfort. Olive leaf contains a substance called olarapan. As the body grows older, inflammation no longer acts as a short-term defense mechanism. Instead, it becomes a constant, unwanted presence. Researchers at the University of Granada in Spain carried out a controlled trial involving adults with an average age of 67. The study showed that olive leaf extract lowered C-reactive protein levels, the body's major inflammation warning signal, by 28% across 12 weeks. That shift can mean the difference between waking up with joints that feel heavy and painful, or waking up ready to move. This matters even more for aging bodies, because after the age of 65, the body produces much higher baseline levels of a molecule known as interleukin-6. That molecule keeps inflammation activated even when there is no danger present. Research published in the European Journal of Nutrition demonstrated that olapine directly reduced interleukin-6 activity. Rather than simply hiding discomfort like anti-inflammatory medication, it targeted one of the underlying reasons aging joints feel stiff and painful. The impact on skin was equally significant. Olarapan protected the collagen structure within skin tissue by neutralizing enzymes known as matrix metalloproteins. Those enzymes function like tiny scissors that cut apart the support network responsible for firm skin. A 2019 study from Jagiellonian University in Poland discovered that older adults consuming olive leaf compounds experienced noticeably less collagen breakdown after 10 weeks. To make olive leaf tea, use about 2 grams of dried olive leaf, approximately a small palm full, placed into 200 milliliters of water. The water should first reach a boil and then cool for 2 minutes. Direct boiling water should be avoided because excessive heat may damage the olarapan compound. Allow the tea to steep for 10 to 12 minutes before straining and drinking. The ideal moment to drink it is in the morning before breakfast. Cortisol levels naturally rise at that time, allowing the anti-inflammatory compounds to work together with the body's natural morning chemistry. For improved absorption, combine the tea with a small amount of black pepper or 1/4 teaspoon of turmeric. Piperine found in black pepper has been shown to improve the availability of plant polyphenols by as much as 30%. At number 4 came mulberry leaf. A woman named Margaret, 72 years old from Knoxville, Tennessee, sought help because of what she believed were ordinary signs of aging. Her fasting blood sugar remained around 118. Her energy crashed during the afternoon, and her doctor had recently mentioned the word pre-diabetic for the first time. Margaret felt frightened. She was not overweight. She exercised often and believed she was doing everything correctly. What Margaret did not realize was that after age 65, post-meal blood sugar spikes become far more dangerous. The pancreas loses efficiency in releasing insulin rapidly, while muscle cells develop insulin resistance as part of aging. As a result, glucose remains in the bloodstream longer after meals, quietly harming blood vessel walls, speeding up skin aging through glycation, and increasing widespread inflammation that contributes to joint pain. Mulberry leaf contains a naturally occurring substance called deoxyogurame, also known as DJ. This compound affects the enzymes inside the small intestine that normally break carbohydrates into glucose. Instead of allowing sugar to flood rapidly into the bloodstream, DJ slows the process. Researchers at Tokyo Women's Medical University discovered that consuming mulberry leaf extract before a meal, rich in carbohydrates, reduced post-meal blood sugar spikes by 44% in adults older than 60. For someone like Margaret, that difference could determine whether prediabetes progressed or remained controlled without medication. The benefits extended beyond blood sugar. Repeated glucose spikes trigger the formation of advanced glycation end products, commonly called age formation. This process causes collagen fibers within the skin to stiffen and cross-link, becoming one of the primary causes of visible skin aging after 60. By reducing glucose surges, mulberry leaf also protected the structural integrity of the skin at the cellular level. Mulberry leaf tea should be prepared using 3 to 4 grams of dried leaves steeped for 8 minutes in hot water that is rested away from the boil for 90 seconds. The timing is important. The tea should be consumed around 20 minutes before the largest carbohydrate-heavy meal of the day to maximize its effect on glucose absorption. Adding fresh lemon juice further improves the process. Vitamin C and flavonoids found in lemon work together with the D and J compound to stabilize blood sugar response even more effectively. The mild acidity also improves polyphenol absorption through the intestinal lining. After 3 months of drinking mulberry leaf tea before lunch and dinner, Margaret returned for a follow-up appointment. Her fasting blood sugar had fallen to 102. Her afternoon energy crashes disappeared. Her dermatologist, unaware she had been drinking the tea, commented that her skin appeared more hydrated and firmer. The next leaf on the list operated through an entirely different mechanism, reaching deep into the mitochondria, the microscopic energy factories inside every cell of the body. This decline means the cells begin operating like dimming lights. Energy production drops lower and lower. Cellular waste builds up. Inflammation spreads through the body and appears as exhausted muscles, painful joints, lifeless skin, and unstable metabolism. Lemon balm leaf, part of the mint family and used medicinally since ancient Greek civilization, contains a compound known as rosmarinic acid. Multiple studies have identified it as what scientists describe as a mitochondrial protectant. A 2020 study from the Faculty of Pharmacy at the University of Lisbon found that rosmarinic acid lowered oxidative stress markers in older adult cells by 39%. Researchers also observed measurable improvement in mitochondrial membrane potential, essentially the efficiency with which those cellular furnaces produce energy. For joint health, this is especially important because cartilage cells called chondric rely heavily on healthy mitochondria. When mitochondria inside chondrites stop functioning properly, inflammatory signals are released, accelerating cartilage deterioration. Researchers from the University of Rochester Medical Center identified mitochondrial protection within joint tissue as one of the most promising, yet severely underfunded strategies for arthritis prevention. Rosmarinic acid found in lemon balm performs exactly that role. There is another connection involving cortisol that becomes highly relevant after age 65. Elevated nighttime cortisol levels become increasingly common with aging and are strongly linked to disrupted sleep. This also damages blood sugar regulation the following morning while increasing inflammatory activity throughout the body. A randomized controlled trial published in the journal Nutrients found that lemon balm extract lowered salivary cortisol levels by 18% in stressed older adults. The result was noticeably improved sleep quality and reduced morning blood sugar readings. To prepare the tea, use 2 to 3 grams of fresh or dried lemon balm leaf placed into 250 milliliters of hot water. Allow it to steep for 6 to 8 minutes. This tea works best when consumed during the evening, approximately 1 hour before sleep, because its cortisol-regulating effects become strongest, while stress hormones naturally begin slowing down. The flavor is gentle with light lemon and floral notes, making sweeteners unnecessary. For added synergy, include a small sprig of fresh rosemary or a pinch of dried rosemary during steeping. Rosemary also contains rosmarinic acid, and combining both herbs creates what food scientists describe as an additive polyphenol effect. Together, the concentration exceeds what either herb delivers separately. The next leaf on the list became remarkable because it was studied specifically in people older than 75 for its impact on anabolic resistance, one of the least discussed but most important causes of physical decline in older adults. At number 2 stood moringa leaf. A man named Gerald, 78 years old from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, had once been a high school football coach and remained physically active most of his life. Yet by the age of 76, he struggled to carry groceries from his car into the kitchen without his legs shaking. His doctor explained it as sarcopenia, the age-related decline of muscle mass, and suggested there was little to do beyond staying active. Gerald refused to accept that answer, and he had reason to question it. Sarcopenia is the medical term for progressive muscle loss that accelerates dramatically after age 65. By age 80, most individuals have lost between 30 and 40% of the muscle mass they possessed at their physical peak. What many people, including many physicians, fail to fully recognize is that sarcopenia is not only a muscle issue. It is also tied to metabolism, inflammation, joint deterioration, and blood sugar regulation all at the same time. Muscle tissue serves as the body's primary organ for glucose disposal. When muscle mass declines, blood sugar control worsens. Muscle also functions as an anti-inflammatory endocrine organ by releasing compounds known as myoines that suppress widespread inflammation. Reduced muscle means increased inflammation. Joint pain experienced during the 70s is often connected partly to the loss of supportive muscle surrounding those joints. Moringa leaf, harvested from the moringa ola tree and often referred to as the miracle tree, contains a nutritional and bioactive profile that is unusually powerful for a single plant. Gram for gram in dry weight, moringa leaf contains more calcium than milk, more potassium than bananas, and more iron than spinach. For aging bodies, the most important aspect may be its isothiocyanate compounds, especially one called moringin. Researchers at the University of Calabria in Italy published findings showing that moringin directly activates a cellular pathway called NRF2. This pathway functions like a master switch that activates the body's own antioxidant production system. In older adults, switching on this pathway becomes increasingly difficult. Moringin activates it. The same research documented measurable reductions in inflammatory markers TNF-alpha and IL-1-beta, two major contributors to joint degradation, by 33% and 29%, respectively across a 16-week period. For anabolic resistance, the aging body's reduced ability to respond efficiently to exercise and protein intake, a 2021 study from MRI University in the Netherlands found that compounds from moringa leaf improved leucine-stimulated muscle protein synthesis in adults over 70 by 22%. That meant older adults consuming moringa regularly experienced stronger muscular response to amino acids from food. Their bodies became more capable of building and preserving muscle tissue again. Moringa also contains chlorogenic acids, compounds from the same family found in coffee. These compounds reduce post-meal glucose response by slowing gastric emptying and improving insulin sensitivity. A meta-analysis published in the Journal of Functional Foods, reviewing 11 clinical trials, found that moringa supplementation lowered fasting blood sugar by an average of 13.5 milligrams per deciliter in pre-diabetic adults. Gerald began drinking moringa leaf tea twice each day, once in the morning and once during mid-afternoon, while also maintaining regular walking and sufficient protein intake. Within 4 months, his grip strength improved measurably. His physical therapist observed significantly better balance and lower body stability. His fasting blood sugar, which had gradually risen toward 115, returned to 98 during his next annual checkup. To prepare moringa tea, use 1 to 2 teaspoons of dried moringa leaf powder or 2 to 3 grams of dried whole leaves in 300 milliliters of water that has been boiled and then cooled for 3 minutes. Steep for 5 to 7 minutes. Moringa carries a mild, grassy, and earthy taste similar to matcha but lighter. Many people mix in a small amount of raw honey and a pinch of cinnamon. That combination is considered ideal because cinnamon also independently stabilizes blood sugar. The strongest synergy with moringa comes from consuming it within 30 minutes of a protein-containing meal, because the compounds targeting anabolic resistance work most effectively when amino acids are already circulating in the bloodstream. The final leaf on the list was something most doctors rarely mention, and something most pharmacies never carry. Many people older than 65 have never considered placing it into hot water at all. The number one choice was bay leaf. The simple bay leaf, often ignored and taken for granted, has been sitting quietly in spice racks in gardens for years, used only to flavor soup. An entire collection of scientific evidence regarding bay leaf and human health has quietly accumulated inside medical journals that most people never open. Bay leaf from the Laurus nobilis plant contains a remarkable combination of active compounds, including eugenol, linol, methyl-eugenol, rutin, and especially a substance called parthanolide. Together, these compounds create a combined effect on joints, skin, and blood sugar regulation. For many people, joint pain has gradually taken away small parts of daily life. Morning stiffness can make the first 10 minutes after getting out of bed feel exhausting. Knees begin hurting while walking downstairs. Hands lose the grip strength they once had. A large portion of this discomfort is driven by an enzyme known as siloxygenase 2, or COX2. This is the same enzyme targeted by aspirin and ibuprofen. The difference is that those medications suppress COX2 externally and carry long-term risks involving stomach lining damage, kidney function, and cardiovascular health. The eugenol contained in bay leaf inhibits QX2 through a different binding pathway. A study conducted at the Arab American University in Palestine found that bay leaf extract displayed COX2 inhibitory activity comparable to low-dose ibuprofen during in vitro testing, but without the gastric irritation or cardiovascular risk profile. For aging joints, another mechanism becomes even more important. Researchers at the Institute on Aging at the University of Florida discovered that the parthanolide compound in bay leaf directly suppresses the activity of NF-kappa B, the master regulator of inflammatory gene expression throughout the body. NF-kappa B functions almost like a volume control for inflammation. In younger individuals, it rises when needed and then lowers again afterward. In adults older than 70, the system often remains elevated, producing what geroscientists call inflammaging, chronic low-grade inflammation that silently damages tissues throughout the body. Parthanolide blocks activation of NF-kappa B directly. In effect, it lowers that inflammatory volume closer to levels seen in younger bodies. A randomized controlled trial published in the Journal of Clinical Biochemistry and Nutrition enrolled 40 adults between 65 and 80 years old with diagnosed osteoarthritis. Half of the participants consumed bay leaf tea twice daily for 12 weeks. The participants drinking bay leaf tea experienced a 36% reduction in joint pain scores. Morning stiffness duration improved from an average of 47 minutes down to 19 minutes. That difference can completely change the course of an entire morning. For skin health, bay leaf works through a mechanism rarely seen among natural compounds. The rutin found inside bay leaf is a bioflavonoid shown to promote dermal fibroblast proliferation. Fibroblasts are the cells responsible for producing collagen and elastin, and their activity declines sharply after age 60. Rutin stimulates those cells to remain more active, increasing production of structural proteins that maintain firm and hydrated skin. Research showed that rutin lowered formation of advanced glycation end products, the same compounds responsible for stiffening collagen and creating an aged appearance, by as much as 31% over 8 weeks. The eugenol present in bay leaf also possesses clinically documented antimicrobial and antifungal properties that support skin health by reducing microbiome imbalances linked to skin inflammation and accelerated surface aging. Bay leaf's effect on blood sugar regulation is one of the most underreported parts of the research. A study published in the Journal of Clinical Biochemistry and Nutrition involved 40 individuals with type 2 diabetes. Participants were separated into 4 groups receiving 1 gram, 2 grams, 3 grams of bay leaf powder daily, or a placebo over 30 days. All 3 groups consuming bay leaf experienced significant improvement in blood sugar regulation. The group receiving 3 grams daily saw fasting blood sugar decline by an average of 26% within 30 days. Their LDL cholesterol also fell by 26%, while HDL cholesterol increased by 29%. The placebo group showed no meaningful improvement. The mechanism centers on bay leaf polyphenols, improving insulin receptor sensitivity. Insulin functions like a key, while insulin receptors on cells act like locks. Aging and repeated blood sugar spikes cause those locks to become stiff and difficult to open. The result is that the body requires increasing amounts of insulin to accomplish the same task. Bay leaf helps restore that sensitivity. Its polyphenols effectively lubricate those locks, allowing the insulin already produced by the pancreas to work more efficiently again. To prepare bay leaf tea, place 3 to 4 whole dried bay leaves into a small pot containing 300 milliliters of cold water. Bring both the leaves and water to a boil together, rather than adding leaves into already boiling water. This cold water extraction, followed by heating, creates a significantly richer polyphenol yield than standard steeping. Once boiling begins, reduce heat and simmer for 5 minutes. Remove from heat, cover the pot, and allow the tea to steep another 8 minutes. Strain, cool slightly, and drink. For maximum blood sugar support, consume bay leaf tea roughly 15 to 20 minutes before the 2 largest meals of the day. For joint support, drinking a cup in the morning on an empty stomach appears to provide the strongest absorption of anti-inflammatory compounds before daily physical activity begins. The most effective combination involves adding 1/4 teaspoon of Ceylon cinnamon, specifically Ceylon, rather than cassia cinnamon because cassia contains higher Cu, along with 2 or 3 thin slices of fresh ginger. The ginger rolls within ginger contribute additional QX2 inhibitory activity. Ceylon cinnamon contributes its own blood sugar stabilizing compounds. Together with bay leaf, the tea simultaneously targets inflammation, blood sugar regulation, and cellular aging. The scientific findings discussed throughout this countdown are real. The mechanisms are real. The studies exist and have been published. Many individuals in their 70s and 80s have made small but consistent adjustments and later observed improved joint mobility, healthier skin quality, and blood sugar changes that even surprised their physicians. The body at 75, 80, and even 85 still retains a remarkable biological capacity to respond to the right signals and inputs. Cells continue seeking repair. Mitochondria continue striving to function efficiently. Fibroblasts still attempt to produce collagen. The compounds found within these leaves provide the signals and materials that support those processes. People deserve mornings without fear of joint pain. They deserve skin that reflects vitality rather than exhaustion. They deserve blood sugar readings that no longer dominate every meal. And they deserve enough comfort and energy to remain fully present for the people and moments that matter most. All scientific references mentioned are available through the published studies connected to this material. These teas are generally considered safe for most adults, though individuals using blood thinners, diabetes medication, or those with known sensitivities to any of these plants should consult a physician before beginning. If this information introduced a new question, a new ingredient, or a new perspective on healthy aging, then take the next step today. Share this information with someone who may benefit from hearing it. Continue learning, continue asking questions, and continue making choices that support strength, mobility, and health through every stage of life. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.